Good morning. It is November 12th. Yes, that is correct. I had to think about it for a moment. It's been what feels like a whole year since the last we met, even though I know it's only been a week. Just feels that way. Today I am using my uterine snakes casting sticker. We also have this in a board, and I have it as an art print if you're available, if you were wanting to know if that was available, which it is. This week I'm using my Redux deck. I have already shuffled, so let's just get to it. That was a silly cutting, but whatever. Okay, so the center energy we have is that Ace of Swords. And then we have the King of Swords and Death. Oh, sometimes the cards just make me chuckle. And that's just the first intention, or first thought before I start reading it. So the focus of the energy for the with this middle card in the center is these new thoughts that are breaking through. And lately I just feel like there's been a barrage of information and thoughts and stuff and coming at us, and I just see this, strong leader of thoughts coming through, or just the person who's using their sword instead of their heart, right? And going forward, there's going to be a lot of changes. I see that Death card as just, things are out with the old, in with the new. Could be good, could be bad. I know where I stand on that. Before I get too far into that, I'm just going to bring in some Lenormand, or some of my felt tarot tiles on the side. Sometimes I like to do this before the conversation gets too big, especially when there's 3 cards in the middle. So we've got the Ace of Wands, and then we've got the 7 of Pentacles, two more. We got the 2 of Cups and the King of Pentacles. Okay, so let's get back into this reading. So like I said, in the center we have that Ace of Swords, which is like these thoughts that are breaking through, these new ideas. Whenever we see swords, we need to remember that it's also in the realm of the mind and conflict, and there could be some new conflicts coming our way, some new things that you need to just really allow those to break through, and then see where it's going to bring you, right? And so with the King of Swords here, maybe you were in that position, maybe somebody that you know has been just bringing all this information, and it is now your point, like your job this week to take what was given to you as the information and see if it aligns with you. And if it doesn't, then allow it to change, allow it to, for lack of better words, die. It is the Death card. But just because somebody said something doesn't mean it's always true. So the Ace of Swords allows us to reclaim our thoughts. It allows us to sit there and critically think. And then going forward, we're going to have to realize, how are we going to take what we know and what we heard and go forth to be able to bring the change that we want to see, right? What brought us to this, we have the Ace of Wands and the 2 of Cups. And that Ace of Wands with the 2 of Cups to me is that the ideas, the fiery creativity, what we're passionate about. And then the 2 of Cups, it's like those contracts and just the agreements that we've made from the heart. Like, we do things because of, what motivates us usually comes from something, the way we feel, right? So maybe there was like a partnership or an agreement that you've been working on that really got you fired up, right? And so it brings you there, and then you've consulted the people who are in the know, and now you have to take that information and see how you're going to use it to change your future, your life, all the things. Going forward with the 7 of Pentacles paired with that King of Pentacles, I see that the seeds have already been planted, and it's been slow progress, but it's being held up by the person who really has your financial best interests, or the stability, right? So it's like the seeds that you've planted are growing. It's just going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to put some Lenormand tiles on the top and the bottom to give us an over and an under. got the overhead, 3 on top. We have the mice, the moon, and the gentleman, or the man card. And the bottom, do I have 3? Yes, we have the cross, the fish, no, drop it, and the stork. Okay. You know, it's really hard right now for me to not make this a biased reading, so I'm really trying to bring the energy right back into like how it might affect you. There's a lot of big things going on in the world. I'm not even going to try and say that there isn't. Some of you may be okay with it, some of you may not be okay with it, and you're going to see something else in this reading, and maybe you're going to see the things that I'm not saying, but like I said, I'm trying to keep this very even-keeled, but sometimes it doesn't happen. But the overall energy and the undercurrent, right? So the overhead, we've seen a lot of little problems, a lot of little things that have been eaten away at us, and that spotlight is on that. And when I see the man card in Lenormand for a collective reading, it's generally the keywords that are associated with that. So we're seeing, instead of passive energy, we're seeing more aggressive energy going, and they think that there's a spotlight, and in order to fix those problems, it's going to be, we're going to need to get a little aggressive, even if that's not our default setting, you know. And then the undercurrent, we have the cross, the fish, and the stork. And so I see that cross as that energy of that burden that we've been bearing, that we've been carrying. And with the fish, there's an abundance of that, but we are moving away from it. You know, we're moving away from these burdens and trying to get to a point where we can all enact the positive change. And the change has to be slow. Again, you know, just a little going back to the focus of the reading is these thoughts that you're carrying around with you, the thoughts that you're piercing through on your daily basis, and a need to examine them. Are they still serving you? Are they no longer serving you? What do you need to let go of in order to be able to move forward? So when the undercurrent shows us those little problems, then we have the ability with the fish is showing, okay, well, it also can point to like our knowledge of it, right? Like a school. But in order to move away from it, you have to identify it. And we are getting into that point. And then going ahead on the overall energy, like I said, there's that big spotlight on those issues, and we're going to have to combat them with a little bit more aggression that we're normally comfortable with. And it all comes from this fiery place of agreement, right? Or disagreement. Maybe it's some discord that's been going on. I'm going to give us some animals for the cornerstones, our pillars of the week. We've got the chipmunk. When I see chipmunk, I just think about there's a little mischievous playfulness going on. So as you're dealing with these big breakthroughs, these thoughts, remember to make time to still enjoy life and play. Like while you're gathering things, make sure to make it fun. If not, there's going to be burnout. One of my favorite things to do is watch the chipmunks. And then we have the chicks. And so when I see that, you know, there's a lot going on, but don't count your chickens before they've hatched. Know that there's certain things that you need to hold close to your heart that require nurturing in order for it to survive. And when the world gets too big, I want you to focus in on that. I want you to focus in on the things that you can do in this moment, because literally that's what's right in front of you. And then we've got the eagle. When I see that, I always think about, again, when the thoughts get too big, you might want to rise above it. Get a different vantage point. Take it to your comfort zone, right? Like whenever I see the eagle, I think about how high they can soar, and also like when they are going after prey, they bring the prey to their home advantage, to the sky, because that's where they have the advantage. So this week, if things start to feel a little bit much that you might be dealing with, because I feel like it is going to be a very mental week again, take it to your comfort zone. Take it to where you have the advantage. And we have the seahorse. And the seahorse reminds me to tell you to stay anchored sometimes, because if the seahorse doesn't get anchored on something, they can just float away into the deep, vast ocean. And that could be an ocean of misinformation, disinformation, or just information as a whole, because it can be a lot, right? So that's why we got to bring it back to the thoughts that we know that we can control in our hand, that we want to analyze in order to make the changes that are going to be slow growing and beneficial for all, right? And for you can zoom it in and beneficial for you. Like I said, with a collective reading, I never know how these are going to land. It might resonate, it might not. Take what you want, leave the rest. If this one didn't, I'll be back next week to offer another collective reading. And I really just hope that no matter where you find yourself in this energy that's going on, that you are taking the time to ground and center and not lose yourself. So I'm here for you. If you need to chat, I can always be reached through email and some DMs. I don't always check those, but email's the best way, and I do try and reply to all the comments. So like I said, no matter where you are, just sending you love and holding space and all that fun jazz. So I'll see you next week. Bye.